Congressman, as you know, over the last couple of months, we've seen riots in Portland. Thankfully, the last couple nights, the state police there have effectively been able to help protect the federal courthouse. Before that, President Trump made it clear we're going to send federal agents, law enforcement officers there to protect federal property as necessary. Recently, you made comments comparing those federal officers to the Gestapo. Why would you make such a comparison when what they're doing is their job to protect federal property? Is that rhetoric not unhelpful as we're trying to make sure the streets are safe in a place like Portland?
Well, you know, I know myself a little bit. I don't know if I ever compared what they're doing to the Gestapo.
It's right there in the transcript, sir. It's right there in the transcript.
I know. Well, I said I don't think so. Maybe I did. I'm never one to think I never can misspeak. But that is not to say that's not what I feel. What I do feel, and I've said this, that what I've seen in Portland reminds me very much of what I saw in Anniston, Alabama back in the 60s. What I saw on the Edmund Pettus Bridge back in the 60s, where state-sponsored and supported terrorism was visited upon people who were protesting peacefully.
You're comparing the peaceful, we all honor the peaceful protests of the 1960s. Are you comparing the violence against law enforcement today, which is clear and obvious, it's right there before all of us, and the defensive measures law enforcement have to take? Everyone's for peaceful protest. They're burning Bibles in Portland instead of holding them on the bridge like the peaceful protesters did in the 1960s. How do you make that comparison?
Well, I don't know anything about burning Bibles.
That's another thing that's out there.
Everybody's got their own religion. And I know the Quran, you know, I know the Bible, both New and Old Testaments very well. And so just because somebody may believe in the Quran, that's their business. So burning a Bible doesn't do anything about burning down a federal building. I don't know if I've seen, maybe you all know something I don't know, what federal building has been under threat? Who attempted to burn in a federal building? What I saw, I know what I saw in Michigan.
It's been unfolding in Oregon, with all due respect, Congressman. You may be watching other networks. It's been fireworks, Molotov cocktails, explosions, attacks at officers night after night after night. Look at the precinct in Minneapolis that was burned by rioters that started a lot of this. Ultimately, we've seen violence against law enforcement. We can't just deny it. Are they supposed to not defend themselves and defend federal property?
Look. They do defend themselves, and I do defend them as well. But I don't defend pretenders. We saw in Minneapolis a guy dressed up as if he were black, all in black, but knocking out windows. When they arrested him, when they found out, he was a white supremacist, disguising himself. And that's what's going on all over. I've seen these movies. Look, I was in these movies back in the 60s. I walked right alongside John Lewis and everybody else, and I can tell you, we never rioted, but there was rioting going on. Burn, baby, burn was not us. Somebody else, insurgents came in, pretenders came in and started that in order to subvert the movement. And that's what's going on here. Black Lives Matter will not ever. The people connected to that won't burn down any buildings. But the people who are trying to incite stuff, the pretenders, not protesters, but pretenders, will do anything. Now, you saw that on the camera yourselves, and you should have reported it. Other places did.
Yeah. Congressman,
white supremacists,
thank you so much for being here today. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your input.
Thank you,
and we have more Fox and Friends.